All right, so we're currently looking at Bitcoin, and price action is telling us that we want to aim for lower lows because on every single time frame, so the 5 minute has just turned to a downtrend, the 15 minute just confirmed a downtrend, the 1 hour is currently on a downtrend ever since this huge spike down. Same with the 4 hour. Daily, however, is not on a downtrend because we've made higher lows every single time. So I do not expect price to hit this range anymore. Also, with the weekly price action, we could see some for the next month or two, probably some consolidation here before we start seeing uh, price begin to climb. In my opinion, it could definitely climb. At the same time, it's definitely gonna have some friction in this area, and we're just gonna have to see where price goes, right? So like, nothing I'm saying is guaranteed. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing, and then that last part, I was just going off of what price was possibly telling me. So the daily and the weekly is not what I'm really concerned about. What I'm really concerned about is reaching this price target, and doing this on a weekend can be hard because weekends are more volatile. There is less volatility, quote unquote, so anything could happen, right? Everything's up in the air. So currently I'm in this position for a short, and price right now is moving up. That's completely fine. I already made a play where I capitalized on this huge red candle. So to check back over here, price was consolidating. Then I created a box to show where price made this high. So on the, I think it was a 1 hour. Okay, I know what happened. So this box right here, this box was to mark the clearest high on this downtrend. And when price tried to come back up on the 4 hour, and the wick sort of just tapped out here. So I had to zoom in and see what price was telling me. And looking back over here, price was making lower highs every step of the way. So when it came up back to this area and tried to re-challenge this zone for the 4 hour, if you zoom in on the 1 hour, which is what we're at, price made a high, then it came down and made a lower high because it didn't reach this high. We're looking at the bodies, not the wicks. So it would make a lower high. This counts as a lower high. Even though this went higher, they said, you know what, we're going to try to get past this point one more time. And then when they did, they pretty much liquidated anyone who had a sell position here on the sell side liquidity. So they liquidated everyone here. And on top of that, the candles closed out even lower than the previous high. So these were 3 lower highs. And because of that, it was a good indication that, okay, price is more than likely going to go down, which it did. Stopped out everyone here, climbed up a little bit more, tried a one more stretch. Didn't even make it past the lower lows and the higher lows over here on this side. What was it? I took, so this is the 1 hour, and I took this as a sign that price doesn't want to go any higher. And when it got to here, then I zoomed in on the 15 minute, and price was still making lower highs. So that gave me an indication to buy. And then my stops, I think my stop loss was either here or here. I think I would put it around here just to be conservative in case they had one more wick that would just wipe out all the sell side liquidity. But eventually, in less than like an hour 30 that day, price decided to jump all the way down here, and I closed profits targeting these lows, right? So after that, price decided to move around on the 15 minute here towards making lower lows. And these, in terms of ICC, are indications. This was a recently new low, so it's an indication. Then we broke from this low, right? So we broke from this low and made a new indication, right? After that indication, price made a strong buy signal. This is giving me sort of a hint that price doesn't want to go any lower, that buyers want to stop out here. The reason why I still want to retarget it is because price is just officially, in the next 5 minutes, will most likely make a lower high here. This will conclude as a lower high swing, right? Because on the 15 minute, we've already confirmed a downtrend. And because we confirmed a downtrend already, I went ahead and entered in a position where I believe price will no longer retarget these highs unless price decides to consolidate more, or we start to see I don't know, a huge jump in the next hour, right? Which I really doubt, because We've had all the signs from the 15-minute that price doesn't want to go any higher, and we have signs from the 5-minute and the 15-minute that price doesn't want to go any higher, and that it's targeting lower lows. This will be the next low that I believe price will hit before we start to reconsider our position. Like I said, this was a strong buy, so I have no idea if price will go down here. I'm just taking a calculated risk and saying that, hey, we just confirmed a downtrend on the 5-minute, 15-minute. All the lower time frames are signaling downtrend. The 4 hours of downtrend, the 1 hour is a downtrend. I'm gonna take my chances and retarget the lows. And let's say it gets passes it, right? It could just be a wick like this one. Price has shown that there is volume here where buyers really want to step in. So I'm not too confident that we'll reach these lows where all these lines are, right? Or this one. Also on top of that, the daily is on an uptrend. So it really doesn't give me enough confidence to really target these lows. It's definitely possible. Anything's possible. Nothing's guaranteed. We're just working with what we're seeing, and the chances here are that the short position on this entry is more than likely going to target, price will more than likely target somewhere along this range. So the entry model that I use is ICC, and the ratio that I'm working with is 1-3. And so if price decides to go back up on these highs, that means it's contesting the previous lower high, which means price is deciding to actually reverse. And it is a 15-minute, so with that being said, because it's the 15-minute, I would not be surprised if my stop loss gets hit. Like, that's just the nature of the game. And it's a 1-3 position, so I'm not too worried. I already made my money off of this short position. So if it hits it, like I said, I'm not too worried about it. We'll just reconsider for next week's, target. What I can kind of see for this week, how this week will entail is that price might decide to, like I said, revisit these lows, or if price is finally deciding to find a support level here. As you can see, buyers really stepped in here and here, so I would not be surprised if we start seeing support ranges from here, which would then indicate us a possible reversal on the 1 hour and the 4 hour. Then at that point, I would be retargeting these highs. I would be retargeting, let me take this box out. I would be retargeting these highs, and if the macro follows and the trend respects the daily, which is the higher time frame, then I would absolutely swing trade all the way up to, that was the wrong one, all the way up to these highs, these highs, these highs. So it's really endless. The key note here that I want to make is that the entry and the R to R is extremely respected. That exactly where we get in is the perfect time to get in, and that could be at any point. Bitcoin is 24/7, so the plays that I notice always happen at 2 a.m, which kind of sucks because then I have to stay up a little longer and I have to wake up early as fuck. But 2 a.m, most of the sweet spots are like open for Bitcoin, right? I got into this position, what was it, 12:30? Yeah, I did get stopped out on one here, and that's completely fine. Actually, no, I didn't. Okay, so I did a trade here. I think I did a trade at like 2, was it? I did a trade right here. It was like 2 o'clock. I did not set a target position here for the previous low. So price swung there, and it, like, I had no TP. So I didn't capitalize off any profits. When I woke up, price was sitting around here, and I was at like 30% profit. And I was like, okay, let's give it a minute. Let's see what price wants to do, right? We're still in a downtrend. Price is respecting previous highs. Could this be a possible liquidity sweep? ICT, TGR concept, like reversal all the way to these highs. That's what I was thinking. I was like, if price doesn't respect these highs, then that's the next level. So I opened up long position once I confirmed a uptrend on the 15-minute, which nothing's guaranteed. I'm just working with what I got. I know that price is on a downtrend on the higher time frame, so I had to monitor this play because I was really skeptical of the play that I was putting myself into, and I didn't want to do something irresponsible. So I set the 1-2. I did a 1-2 ratio long position. Price probably cut down like around here. I think my stop position was like right here, and then price got to here, and then what was it? Price got to here, and then I just closed out. So I just closed out, and I just recorded the video, and now I'm setting a short position. Why am I doing all this in the span of one day? Because I already hit my positions. I'm already huge in the green. Why not generate some plays that still make sense and can still earn me profit at the end of the day? If it still makes sense and everything lines up, why not capitalize off of it? If I'm mentally ready, just go for it. You know what I mean? I feel mentally prepared for this. It's a Sunday. Dude, if we hit another green, it's another green. If we hit another red, it's another red. Who cares? You know what I mean? As long as the data on the month follows. Like, I've been positive this entire month, so I'm gonna just stick to whatever works best for me mentally and whatever happens on the chart. So we're currently in this short position that is on the recording as of right now. I'm down just a little bit because I have to cover the fees. I think around here is where the fees will be, like, basically I'll be break even. I fucking hate the fees, but it is what it is. It's always like 5% of the position because I'm leveraging 35x through perpetual futures. So I'm shorting Bitcoin here, retargeting these lows. It's actually, I don't know why. Yeah, I need to adjust that on my, I don't do trades off of TradingView. I just set up a display and then I adjust the trades through another app. I use Jupiter. Switch that real quick. 137. Jupiter's good. It's just sometimes they don't set the short and long calculations. Sometimes I think because of volatility, the price adjustments don't load up, and so I have to do like manual calculations. And then I have to use rough numbers to assess, you know, what's a fair number to work with so that I can get in this trade with the healthy number so I don't lose out. You know what I mean? And look at that, price is starting to follow as accordingly. We have established a swing low. I'm sorry, a swing high, but it's a lower high, as you can see. And a swing high is, what's the word? A swing high is official once 3 candles constitute it as a high. So we have the highest candle followed by 2 candles that are lower than that high. So that constitutes as a swing high. Remember that. And because it's finalized, it would also constitute itself as a lower high. And because of that, I'm making the decision based off of the higher time frame and the lower time frame, excluding the daily, that price will end up lower. Will it hit this target? Like 80% of me says yes, 20% of me says nature of the game, daily time frame. You know, a lot of contradictions, but there's more upside than downside. So I'll take the risk. And it's a Sunday, and I'm up on trades. I don't give a fuck. I'll take the risk. So yeah.